Homelander is so fragile. He's so...
You think you've seen how Gen V ends, but that finale didn't just close one story. It quietly rewired the boys' universe. Every blood drop, every psychic echo, every betrayal inside Godolkin University was pointing to something much bigger than anyone watching could realize. Because Season 2's ending wasn't really about victory or freedom, it was about control, and the people who still think they have it. When the finale opens, it's chaos wrapped in order. The students have united, not as hopeful heroes, but as desperate survivors who finally understand that everything around them, every friendship and memory, was a calculated product of Vought's unseen hand. Marie, Jordan, Cate, and Andre don't look like the young, messy heroes we met in Season 1 anymore. They're hardened, each one carrying scars that go deeper than their abilities. But the truth about Godolkin's founding purpose, and the experiment that never really stopped, sits at the center of everything. This was never just a school. It was a living lab, and every student, every teacher, and every file in the restricted wing was part of an evolving weapon. And that's where Cypher's shadow still lingers. His plan, his manipulation, and the whisper of Thomas Godolkin's legacy all tie into the boys' Season 5's biggest theme. What happens when the next generation finally realizes they were engineered for war? This explains Marie's transformation. The weapon Vought didn't expect Marie Moreau's power has always been about control, not just of blood but of identity. When she first learned she could manipulate blood, it was seen as monstrous. But in Season 2's final episode, that ability becomes something else entirely, almost divine. She no longer uses blood as a weapon. She bends it like memory, like instinct. The control she displays in the finale feels almost like the power to rewrite biology itself. It's not just telekinetic, it's genetic. And that's the key. Marie's powers are no longer limited to her or her enemies. She's crossing into something deeper, the kind of manipulation that could target Compound V itself. Vought created her to test the boundaries of what V can do, to create a being who could control it, maybe even purify it. But what happens when the creation realizes she can rewrite the creator? That's what makes her terrifying to Vought and fascinating to the boys' Season 5 setup. Because if Marie can control V, she can control Soups, and Homelander, for all his strength, runs on the same serum that flows through her veins. The hidden plan, Godolkin was never shut down. The biggest twist in Gen V finale isn't that Godolkin is destroyed, it's that it was never meant to end. The collapse of the university is an illusion. Vought needs the world to believe the threat is over, while secretly collecting data, bodies, and blood samples from the chaos. And that means Godolkin's legacy. Thomas Godolkin's experiments in psychic conditioning, memory erasure, and compound evolution didn't die with him. It evolved through Cypher. Even though Cypher's physical presence is erased by the finale's end, his influence remains, an algorithm in Vought's archives that knows exactly how to reshape human potential. He wanted to create a psychic chain that would connect Soups through their bloodline. The same chain that now binds Marie's blood to every student who ever injected Compound V. That's why the final shot lingers on Marie's hands. They're stained, trembling, not from exhaustion but because she feels something. Every pulse of blood, every heartbeat around her. A living network. Cypher may be gone, but the experiment, Project Odessa, has become self-sustaining. Marie is the experiment now. And that's the bridge to the boys, Season 5. What if Vought can no longer control its creation because she's learned to control all of theirs? The real villain isn't Homelander, it's the data. The finale's quietest, scariest moment comes not from a death or a twist, but from a database. As Vought cleans up the wreckage, every scrap of information, every fight, every display of power, every drop of blood spilled, is uploaded into an AI-driven project called Compound Insight. And this is where the boys' Season 5 begins. Vought no longer needs to create Soups through trial and error, it can now predict them. It knows which genes produce loyalty, which psychological traumas create control, and which impulses make a soldier obey. Godolkin was a field test for this data. The deaths weren't failures, they were calibrating. Marie's success wasn't an accident, she was the proof of concept. And now that the data is ready for global deployment, what the boys' Season 5 will do with it. By the time the boys picks up, Homelander's trial will be old news. The real war won't be fought in court. It'll be fought in genetics. Marie's escape from Godolkin and possible capture creates the perfect Cold War. Vought has her DNA. The boys want her alive. And the government, well, they want to weaponize her. The next generation of soups won't be soldiers or influencers. They'll be hosts, bred to carry specific neural patterns, making them extensions of a central AI that Vought secretly controls. And who built that AI? Cypher did. That's how he lives on, not as a ghost or psychic remnant, but as the digital architect of Vaught's future. So, when The Boys Season 5 starts, it won't be about killing soups anymore. It'll be about breaking the algorithm that controls them. Marie's power, her control over blood, may become the only weapon that can shut it down. The emotional core, Marie's moral dilemma, all of this power means nothing without humanity. That's what Gen V finale drives home. Marie's not just fighting Vought anymore. She's fighting herself. Every time she uses her ability, she risks losing more of her empathy. You can see it in the way she looks at her friends, like she's trying to remember what they feel like. That slow, terrifying detachment is what makes her the perfect foil for Homelander. He lost his humanity years ago. She's losing hers in real time. But The Boys Season 5 will twist that mirror even further. Because if Marie's blood can rewrite Compound V, she could theoretically create a pure version, one that removes the sociopathic side effects. She could fix what made Homelander, or make something worse. The final frame, a message in the blood. That final haunting shot, Marie's hands glowing under a flickering light, isn't just cinematic flair. Look closely, and the veins form a pattern almost like circuitry. That's the hidden message. Cypher's experiment succeeded. Human biology has merged with synthetic programming. Blood is now code. And if blood is code, then whoever controls it controls the species. That's not just a Gen V twist. That's the future of The Boys. The bigger picture of The Boys Season 5 has one job: to answer whether humanity can survive what Vought has turned it into. Marie Moreau isn't the next Homelander. She's something new. Something born from the data, the trauma, and the rebellion that Vought thought it could contain. And if Gen V finale proved anything, it's that control doesn't die, it just finds a new host. Marie's evolution is the start of a new kind of war, one not fought with laser eyes or patriotic speeches, but with veins and memory and DNA. Because the next battlefield isn't out there, it's inside every soup alive. Final thoughts. Gen V credits roll, the audience might think the story is over. The blood has dried. The students have escaped. But in truth, this is where The Boys begins. Homelander, Butcher, and Huey. They'll soon discover that the chaos at Godolkin wasn't random. It was a signal, a warning. Vought has rewritten evolution. And Marie Moreau is holding the pen,